COVID-19 has claimed nearly 1 million lives across the world, but it has also revealed a glimpse of a cleaner, greener planet. Shutdowns across the globe have put factories on pause and brought international travel to a virtual standstill. As the UN kicks off Climate Week in New York, it's hoping that the pandemic can provide an important opportunity to address global warming. Sarah Walton with this report.
In the last months, California has recorded the largest wildfires in its history. Scientists say they were amplified by climate change, and they're urging people not to let a pandemic overshadow global warming.
If you're in California in a forest community, well, guess what? Climate change has just displaced COVID-19 as the most important issue.
It's against this backdrop that the UN is bringing together world leaders for its annual Climate Week, although this year it will be a mostly virtual event because of coronavirus. Earlier this year, it was hoped that the virus could be the catalyst for a greener planet, as lockdowns prompted a drop in air pollution across the world. Experts now believe the cut in emissions will be temporary, but say the pandemic could still spark permanent change.
When we're able to travel again, people are going to travel. But I do think, though, that the dominance of nature over humans, certainly people understand that with how we've lived indoors and isolated from each other since March. And so a little bit more humility in the face of nature, whether it's climate change or it's a virus, I think has been brought home to people.
Nevertheless, there are still huge hurdles to clear to meet climate change targets.
While President Trump has taken the US out of the Paris Climate Agreement, most other countries still aren't on track to meet its goals. And independent analysis from the group Climate Action Tracker estimates that based on current policies, well, temperatures are likely to rise by 3 degrees Celsius by the end of the century.
The current Secretary-General, Antonio Guterres, has made addressing climate change a priority. And while the UN has been criticised for failing to convince world powers to always work together, experts say it has become an important leader on this issue.
What's interesting about Antonio Guterres' approach to climate change is that he doesn't believe that governments, and even the US government, can solve this challenge alone. He believes that the private sector and investors need to do a lot more to counter climate change, and I think there's going to be a big UN focus on working with the private sector and civil society to deal with global warming.
And that will be one of the topics of discussion at Climate Week, in what will be the biggest environmental summit of the year. Sarah Walton, CNA, New York.